Hey everyone, I'm Jen with two N's, and I use she, her pronouns, and I'm here to talk about another book in the Twisted Tale series. So far, the books that I've talked about have been written by Liz Braswell, Elizabeth Lim, and I don't know if I've already talked about one by the author that I'm talking about today, but today's author is Jen Kalanita. I apologize for mispronouncing her last name, but she only spells it with one N. Jen. So today's book is Mirror Mirror by Jen Kalanita, and I thought that it was a 5-star worthy book. I super enjoyed it. So the Snow White movie, though, like the classic Disney, I have never really been a fan of it. I mean, I watched it, but I just was never really a fan of it when I was a kid. And then growing up too, I just haven't, like, Snow White just isn't one of my favorite princesses from the classic movie. I just feel like she's the epitome of a Disney princess, just always in distress, can't really do anything for herself, really. And just the voice, I wasn't really a fan of the voice actor for Snow either, but that's just me. My husband, on the other hand, he doesn't love Snow White, but that's his favorite. And he says it's because she was the first princess, and so obviously she's the best. I feel like there's arguments that could be for and against that thought process, but whatever, he can like Snow all he wants. So the book follows Snow White, the movie, for a little bit. So Snow White is alone. The evil queen is doing her thing, raising her and being evil, all those things, and wants to kill Snow. So she sends the huntsman after him because she's prettier than her, because mirrors know these things apparently and they can talk to you. Huntsman pretends to kill Snow, takes a deer's heart instead to present it to the evil queen, and Snow goes off to chill with 7 random dwarves in the middle of the woods and decides to live with them for a little bit. Normal everyday teenage girl things. The question that Jen with one N asks the readers for this twisted tale is, what if the evil queen poisoned the prince instead of Snow White? And when I saw that question on the book cover, I was really confused as to how that would be a thing, because if you're thinking about the movie, she is living with the dwarves, and then I vaguely remember her being on these rock areas trying to get maybe that was the prince. I don't remember the classic super well, but she eats an apple from this old witch lady, and then, Snow White's poisoned. So I wasn't really sure how the heck that would happen in this book, like how that would look, if it would make any sense at all. But Jen with one N found a way to make it make sense. So one reason why I think this book is 5 stars is because it does what I love that retellings do, which is it adds different elements and different sides to stories. We get to learn more about different characters and their potential backstories, and more about who they are as our fictional characters. So, for example, we get to learn so much more about the evil queen. She has a name in this book, Ingrid. There's a name for the evil queen, who would have thought? And the story alternates chapters between Ingrid's point of view and Snow's point of view. So that's really cool. We really get to see her childhood, how she's related to Snow White, if she's related to Snow White. And because in the movies, I feel like all we know is that the evil queen, she's just an evil twat, right? Who's jealous of this teenager for being prettier than her, because that's a perfectly normal thing to have happen. But in the book, she's an evil twat for a reason. So we get to learn why she's evil, and it humanizes her while also still having her be evil. You know what I mean? It just adds those different layers. So I really appreciated that piece of it, because we get to learn so much more about Ingrid and even Snow's history. Something else that I really loved about this book is that the mirror gets its own story, backstory, and personality. In the movie, I feel like all we really know is that this mirror answers to this evil queen, answers to all of her vain desires, and just does all those things in the movies, right? But in the movie, there's only one Disney classic, Snow White. But in the book, the mirror gets its whole backstory. We get to learn where it was made, why it was made, how the queen even got the mirror. And like I said, it has its own personality. So it has its own motives, its own agenda. So it's just really cool that Jen with one N gives the mirror this whole entire story and voice that he didn't really have in the book. So that's something else that I really loved about this particular Twisted Tale. Another thing that I really, really liked about this twisted tale, Mirror Mirror, is that Snow White is no longer just a damsel in distress. So she's living under the queen's rule and still being the maid, right? Cleaning the entire castle and everything. And so she isn't really fully aware about what's going on outside of the castle because she's not allowed to venture outside of the castle wall. She has to stay on the grounds. So she doesn't know the state that the kingdom is in, but when she learns about what's happening in the kingdom and sees what's going on, she takes action, she does things. And so that's something else that I really appreciated about Snow White in this book, is that she has, I feel like, more layers to her. She does more things, she takes action, she gets shit done. It's really, I just really, really liked that. And I think that Disney is doing that a lot more with their princesses. They're no longer just simple, not simple, kind of simple, but they're no longer just like the whole, I'm gonna sleep for forever and wait for some random dude to kiss me while I'm sleeping, because that's a perfectly acceptable behavior. It's more of like Moana and Merida doing things and like taking action and being more action-y princesses that have more control over their lives, or they take more control over their lives, like Mulan did. You know what I mean? Just taking control over their lives and doing more things instead of just waiting for somebody to do something for them. So that's something else that I really appreciated about this book, is that Jen with one N really writes Snow White really well in that way. So if you're a fan of the original Snow White, I feel like it's a 50-50 maybe if you're gonna like this particular book. Like I said, you definitely get to learn so much more about Snow's world. Characters get a lot more depth to them. There's more of a backstory to them. Like Ingrid, even Snow, and the prince is no longer just a creepy prince who goes around and kissing sleeping chicks in glass coffins. So that's really cool. They just get a lot more depth. You get to learn more. The dwarves aren't as big of characters, I feel like, in this book. I mean, they're obviously there and they do things, but I feel like they're just they don't play as big of a role in this story as they do in the movies. So that's one thing. But overall, I really, really liked this particular book. And if you're a fan of audiobooks, I highly recommend listening to this one as an audiobook. That's how I've gone through all the Twisted Tales, is I've listened to them on their audiobooks, and I just really think that all the voice actors, I don't think I've had any issues so far, but I think all of the readers for these stories do a really good job of, by them reading it, they're adding a new depth to the story, and I just get a different feel by listening to them read it. So I've really liked it so far. And as far as next Twisted Tales, I know that Unbirthday is out, which is Alice in Wonderland that came out last September. I haven't read it just yet, but that's next on my list to listen to that one. And then one about Meg and Hercules is coming out soon, so I'm really excited. I think it's called Go the Distance. That one I'm really excited about. So we'll see what happens when those come out. But yeah, that's that for today, and I hope you have a great day. If you want to leave a comment below to let me know your thoughts, feel free to do so. If you like pictures of books, you can go to my Instagram. It's the same title as this channel, read.with.2njen, read with 2njen, and you can follow me in both wherever you'd like to follow if you do that kind of thing. And yeah, that's that. So I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.